Welcome to Date with Danu right here on Hi TV, your luxury channel. Today is a very special show. We are celebrating international recognition from a local brand that has gone global and created a mark in the world of fashion. We'll speak more as we move on with the show.
I'm Sandra Wanduragala. I'm the founder and the chairwoman of Selyna Exports Private Limited.
Hi, I'm Selyna Peiris. I am Head of Business Development at Selyna and the next generation lead of the company. So here we are today to speak with Danu on how we are taking Sri Lanka's handloom to the global stage.
And we have these two brilliant ladies. I'm happy to have Sandra and Selyna from the brand Selyna. If you didn't know, for obvious reasons they named Selyna Selyna. Yeah. The brand came first or Selyna came first?
Selyna came first.
Ah, okay.
Thank God.
Thank God. Otherwise, it would have been really like, my brand is doing so well, let's just name it the same thing. It's easier to keep in mind. So, your start, so you were a lawyer, you're still a lawyer. Why did you decide to keep law aside and get these women in the neighborhood to come in and start off this very small operation at the time you started?
I got this opportunity because of a project from the Netherlands, CBI. They were working on developing the handloom industry in Sri Lanka. And I was earmarked as one of the entrepreneurs who could be nurtured, and because the operation was very, very small at that time. So I thought I'll go with it, but actually I didn't leave aside my law practice because I come with very humble beginnings, and I had to earn my money for my bread and butter. So that's how I balanced the financial end, and I needed money to invest in the business. So I got it through my legal practice. So I somehow tried to balance both, and this was actually a challenge. And I thought I'll take the challenge. And when I got into the industry only, I saw that if I did this well, that I could have had a big social impact on the rural women.
And there was no other ulterior motives at that time apart from creating a brand, in the process helping some women out, and that's how you started. But you know, women, a lot of people don't understand the strength of a woman, because I think when they are pushed or when they are given an opportunity, they seize it to a point that they can recruit, they can become entrepreneurs who can create a web. At that point when you were starting, did you think that it's going to go this far in life?
Not really. It was actually, as you used the word challenge, some people challenged me when I was selected to represent Sri Lanka at the CBI Netherlands project, because I didn't have a proper business, but I had this liking for handlooms because her father was dealing in handlooms. So they challenged me, and then I thought I will do this and I will take it to a point where it will only win the presidential award. That was the humble target, right? But I never imagined that it will be go so global and, you know,
come to where it is today.
Yes.
Yeah. So I remember I was there to watch Selyna's TED Talk, and you spoke about this one lady who has changed her life, who started her journey in your factory. Tell me, when you were growing up, you saw all these women. What did they teach you, and what did you think of the male figures in their households?
Okay, interesting. So actually, Danu, it's only now, I think so many years later, after I've gotten my education, after I've become a mom, I've realized what they taught me. And that, I think, is resilience, you know. It wasn't overtly taught, but every day when you saw and you see, and we continue to see that struggle, but that determined struggle to make a better life for themselves, I think that is what they finally taught me. You know, and speaking of their husbands, I mean, this is not to say, not to completely generalize,
Yeah,
there are
true.
good men out there for sure, my husband included, just to say that. You know, the women largely in the rural parts of our country, I mean, they really go through a lot, and there's a lot that comes from a male chauvinistic attitude and inferiority complex.
And also there's a stigma that, you know, men are men.
Exactly.
Women need to just deal
So
with it.
even if a woman were to work and bring her equal share into the household, she still has to play the role of a woman. And that's a very difficult thing to balance, especially if you're from an underprivileged, kind of vulnerable setting. So this is what we see with our women every day.
Life in Kurunegala really did change for a lot of people. We're going to be speaking more about it. But right now we have a segment called Hot Seat. I'm just going to address you as Auntie Sandra. I said, okay, it's very hard for me to just call you Sandra, and I feel like I'm really like going just off my character. She hates to do these things. Selyna has dragged her here, which I'm very happy to have you. So we'll speak more when we do come back. Welcome back. So this is a set of questions that we really thought, because, you know, I can't ask scandalous questions, no, when she's here. But this question is for you, Selyna, but you could add an answer if you'd like to. So this is a hot seat segment. Here we go. Shriyanti Rajapaksa's recently represented Sri Lanka for the first International Congress for Women of Influence in Tehran. Your thoughts on this?
No comment.
Like, how do you think? Do you think it was wrong on our side or right on our side to let the former First Lady represent?
I mean, I think the question is larger than Shriyanti Rajapaksa. It's what is right and what is wrong in this country. So I think it all stems from that, right? That's the most diplomatic answer I can give right now. But yes, I think we really need to understand right and wrong, especially in this process of recovery in the country. Yeah.
Okay. This for both of you. Your thoughts on women in the parliament. Why are they so underrepresented in the parliament according to you all?
Mom, why don't you take that?
I think according to this voting system, the
process of
proportional representation, and there is a lot of money which has to be spent. And since the nominations are given by the men, they don't opt to nominate women, right, to run for elections. And then comes a situation where we Sri Lankan women, Asian women, are a little bit concerned about our privacy, our character. You know, we don't like to be unjustly humiliated. But I feel a little bit sad because we don't have women with vision leading us in parliament. Leading us means the women. We are 52% of the population, and we need to have a vision for our women, and we have to see the realistic social barriers that women have, but no one sees it. And I really don't understand what the silence is about. Maybe they are shut down, or, you know, I don't know really. It's really disgusting.
If you were to teach a young boy one thing that could change his life, what would you choose to teach him?
You brought up Malli. What did you choose to teach him?
You need to respect women and give them an equal stand in life as you respect your mom or your sister. I think that's very important for a boy to know, and I wouldn't give my boy a preference over my daughter.
You?
What would I teach? You know, I never even imagined having a boy. I have a girl now, so I never had to think about this question, but I think in the race or the fight for equality and equity for women, actually men play a more important part. So that's what I teach my son, that if I were to have a son, that actually he is
The
more
ambassador for
important.
change,
He is more important to kind of take ahead women's rights than perhaps the women. So that is the role and the responsibility he has to take in society.
Amazing. Just throwing the question there. Yohani or Jacqueline Fernandez?
Yohani, I think. I really like her. She's cute and I think she's made a mark.
Why isn't our apparel industry making headway in the international arena as much as we would like it to?
I think there's two sides of the apparel sector in Sri Lanka. So actually the manufacturing side of the apparel sector is perhaps the largest and the most influential part of the fashion industry in the world. I think when it comes to sustainability standards and really setting trends and standards from the manufacturing side, the three big boys plus have made their mark in the world. But then in the same question on the brand side or the market side, yes, Sri Lankan brands are nowhere to be seen and or hardly to be seen. And I think that's perhaps because for the last 35 years we have been influenced by that B2B manufacturing model, because taking a brand to the world requires a lot of financing, a lot of risk and courage, you know. So when we have just manufactured for brands and we have never been inspired by actually brands going out, then we have also thought, okay, maybe our role is simply in the manufacturing world. So perhaps those are the reasons why that we don't see Sri Lankan brands taking on the world.
I think everyone has played it safe.
True. Another female entrepreneur who, in your opinion, should make it to the Forbes list?
So many, actually.
Just give me one. So.
I mean, so many. There's Achala Samradivakara, Good Market. I mean, in my generation, Amma would add for hers. I mean, people like Dawn Austin, so many fantastic entrepreneurs in this country who have, female entrepreneurs who have done amazing things. I just mentioned those two names because they just came to my head, but they've really changed the way business is done, you know, with empathy. So I think we are just not recognized enough. Amma, anyone?
Otara would have been someone, and I have really no idea.
But there's a lot of us, that's the point.
Yes.
If not for Selyna, where would you go and shop for handloom work? Salusala, Barefoot, Kolanka.
I would say Barefoot because they are the kind of leaders of.
But I will definitely support Kolanka also.
That's amazing. Thank you so very much. I must say your mum won hands down, because that one answer she gave just knocked it out of this park all the way to another country. So well done. This is for you. I'm just going to give it to you after the break. We'll get into a break. We'll see you on the other side. Thank you for joining us on the show. Welcome back to the show. We are talking about getting to the Forbes list. Now, it's not an easy thing. It's not like, you know, how, you know, some people in Sri Lanka can just say, oh, I'm putting you onto a list. And it's so easy to put you onto a list if you know that person. Now, this is not easy to get on to know. So let's speak about this. Do you find it as cool I've got into it, or you're like, this is not going to change the way I think, or it is never something that...
I have really no idea how I went to it, and I really don't feel elated that I have gone there. And
because everyone has wished on her page. Everyone is like, congratulations.
and what's there after all.
Cool that way. Now, before getting to this, before this shop that we see down Fife Road, all of this coming to life, let's go to the root cause. When these women came forward to work with you, how did they approach this job? Did they come, oh my God, I love handloom, or let me just learn a new skill, or is it for survival? I want to just live my life.
It's a mix of everything, I think. Some women, they were weaving for a long time, and then they had no other place to go and work, and then some for survival for sure. Some came to acquire a skill that they can use it for a long time, and I think it was a mix of it.
If today, looking at these entrepreneurs who have branched out, tell me, how does that module work? Because we know of companies where they expect you to work for them, and you retire and you die. But your growth has been for the company, not for yourself. Yeah, you may earn a little bit more as your years go on, but how does the module work for y'all? Because y'all are creating entrepreneurs who are contributing towards Selyna eventually. How does this module work?
My passion throughout my life has been in building people, right? I take great pleasure in building a person to be independent and self-reliant. So, same in Selyna, we help them, it's better to say assist them to start up their own businesses, that they even can acquire the skill and work for someone else if Selyna fails them. Right? So, in every area I work, I take great pride in helping people and seeing that they are really doing well in their lives.
But let's speak about the model a little bit, like how does somebody go from working for Selyna, then branching out? Because you spoke about the success story at TEDx. Just tell me about that.
Selyna.
So yes, I'm the modeling girl. So no, essentially, Danu, it's so we identify ourselves as a social enterprise. And when we say social enterprise, we mean that it's not just the financial gain, but it's also the social and the environmental aspects of our business that equally go hand in hand. It's a triple bottom line. So that's what we protect. And how the Selyna model works is then how do you give women who really can't work in a formal sector in the country, so they can't find jobs in a formal economy, how do we give them access to work?
Right.
So businesses have to be flexible, part-time, work from home, take work home, different ways of working, and then to go into the extent of starting your own business at home, creating your own groups at home. So that's essentially the economic or the business operating model.
I would like to interject something. That is what you call equal rights, because you can't expect a mother who is breastfeeding to be at work and not go and breastfeed and be like, you all wanted equal rights, just sit and work. You need to understand the obstacles that come with gender.
Exactly. So this is why women fall out of the formal economy, and I realized that after I became a mother, actually, like despite the support system I have, it's difficult. You have to balance everything, and if your work life, your company or the environment that you're in doesn't allow you to have that balance, you can't work. And that means a rural woman is often left in the clutches of the man who earns, or very ironically, they go abroad to work, almost to get away from everything. That's happening, out of sight, out of mind.
Sometimes, or most of the time, that's not the best choice, because women are left, we don't know what happens to them there.
Absolutely, and it's not a choice, Danu, that's the reality, because you, a woman, has to obviously have the freedom to move, the freedom to choose the path, even if she were to want to become a prostitute. That's her right, it's her choice. But when rural women have to migrate because there's no choice, and they have to have the income that they can't find the alternative option in our own country, that's not a choice. So that's the kind of understanding or the target group of women that we choose to work with.
Okay. I will come back and we can speak about how they become self-entrepreneurs right after this. Do stick around. This is Date with Danu. We're speaking about the brand Selyna. Welcome back to the show, and this is Date with Danu. We're speaking about how a community can develop if there are a few people who think about the community. So then there are flexible workways for women to choose. And then from there, what happens?
Yeah, so basically what I explained to you was what we call the access to work model. So, and what we think is, Danu, just because a woman has even the flexible ways to work doesn't truly mean that she is in charge of her choices. Because when a woman earns, she doesn't spend on herself. She actually spends on her household. So then her health aspect, her kind of mental health aspect, her menstrual health aspect, all of that gets left behind. She needs to then also know how to save for herself, how to budget. Where's the personality and leadership that she needs? Leaders are not only in boardrooms, right? Leadership comes from home. So how do these women have that holistic empowerment? And that's where the Selyna Foundation comes in. So in essence, by enabling women to access work, to the skills to stay empowered, we give them what we like to think a full skill set to fight on their own. Because what we also shouldn't do and won't do is create dependency. You know, so like Mom said, with or without Selyna, they have to have the skill set and the motivation to make it on their own.
Yeah.
Exactly. So they need the skill set, the knowledge transfer, and the motivation. You can't have either or, right? And then also by working with us, they can like save some capital if they want to start something on their own. We have many examples like that, where women work with us, they start their own kind of sewing workshop, but sometimes they start a small kind of dairy workshop, or they start making eggs, or you know, that's the point. That I mean, every woman who works with Selyna is testament to the fact of the strength of Sri Lankan women. I mean, it's incredible the kind of things they do and the obstacles they overcome.
Do you all have men working?
Absolutely, we do. We do.
How many?
Our managing director is a man. My uncle. The heads of some of our departments are men. In the production floors there are men. In the dye plants there are men. Because you can't, like I said, have, I mean, when you talk about female empowerment, it's not about like completely throwing out the man. You need the man. That's where the balance is.
That is true.
What we are saying is there's an imbalance now, and you need the man. So we have a very vibrant group of amazing men led by my uncle, who's the MD, who's really kind of, you know, leading us and taking everyone to the next level.
Now let's speak about when in this you would have had challenges. You would have been challenged as a woman. You would have been challenged by the men of the women who are working for you. They might have. What has been the biggest situation that you had to deal with?
The biggest challenge I have faced is from the government.
Oh.
The rules, the regulations sometimes makes it impossible to work, right? It drains out a lot of energy, and the bureaucracy, those are the biggest challenges I have faced as a woman, right? But where the other men are concerned, I don't feel that I am a woman and I am second to anyone, and I have that confidence that I can sit on any leadership role, that they will all work according to my vision. But the challenges are from the government.
Does it all come down to the fact that, does it boil down to the fact that it's a woman who is asking me, so I will take my time to do it? Or is it because that's how we are, just we sit on things as long as we want?
I think if it's for a man, it would have been 50% less, But since I am a woman, maybe they think that they can be harder, that they can bully, and it's really been very difficult, to be very honest. Sometimes it's very demotivating. You work for the country and you are working for the community, and if you are being pulled and backstabbed, it's very difficult. It's not only in the context of Selyna, but there are some other few businesses that I'm engaged. As an entrepreneur, sometimes I think I would have gone far ahead if I was maybe in another country.
Where everyone is served with the same spoon.
Yes.
In terms of a political approach, Wanduragala has seen you in so many ways. Didn't people ask you to join politics?
Many times.
And
when I was a kid, I used to dream of getting into parliament. But then I saw that when I do my business, I am my own boss. I am not dictated by anyone's vision, right? So I can't execute my own vision. I can't do things which I want for the people if I was a member of a political party. So I think this is the best way. Get profits, earn money, and you give it back to the society, right? Because money, profits have never been the motivation behind my life, though I come from very humble beginnings. It's all gone back to what I do.
Selyna, would you enter politics?
Right
Right now
a
the
kid,
parliament looks like a mess.
yeah, so
But I'm
as a
just saying.
kid, I too had a vision.
Same here, I also had a vision even till 4 years ago. But
So actually, Danu, I think you ask me this every time I come on this show.
now that you're next to your mom, you can say.
No, I mean, absolutely. I think if I take myself out of the equation, absolutely women who have vision and who have a record of community service needs to be in parliament. Frankly, at this point, I don't think I deserve to be in parliament because I need to work more for the community. There's so much.
But do you think every member in the parliament thinks the way
Absolutely
you're thinking?
not. Absolutely not. Which is why perhaps people like me should, unfortunately, can never be in parliament during our lifetime. Because similarly to what mom said, like, we can do more on the ground because we believe that we need to deserve to be, like, we need to earn our place there. But when you're surrounded by people who don't, then you're just fighting an uphill battle, then for what? So very disheartening, but at the same time, working on Selyna and having this impact that we do is very motivating, and I think we can do so much more, and that's the plan.
Amazing. Let's get into a break. We'll see you on the other side. Do stick around. It's State of Travel. So we're starting a new game with the fact that a lot of people have been asking for newer things. So we started something called On a Scale. Here are the questions. Out of 10, okay? How organized is your room right now?
Is it 10 the most, 1 the
Yeah.
least? 10 the most,
Right.
okay. How organized.
Ani, write it big.
Okay.
Big.
Yeah, I need, and show it afterwards.
I would say
10?
absolutely.
You are fully organized. Show to the camera. You are fully organized?
Fully organized. That's mom.
Really? Auntie has been humble to give only 8 for her. How important is winning to you? Just don't be putting 10 for everything, Selyna.
Okay, fine.
I saw it.
Maybe 7.
Age has got to her.
She's being modest about it. How important it is to be kind to others? Good. How patient are you? Be honest. Selyna, be honest. You can go to the minus as well.
Motherhood has got to me. So I give myself
Honest, you have been honest there. Okay. How graceful are you during defeat? Because I have known Selyna for so long, I just can't imagine the numbers.
How graceful, okay.
Auntie has said 10, 7. I would have reduced it a bit more. Okay.
I learn out of the mistakes.
Okay, last one. How good are you in expressing love?
That's a tough one, Danu.
Sometimes I ask good questions. So.
Yeah, maybe.
You have given a 3. God. Annie, here there is no 6 there at all, Selyna.
No, what do you mean?
Let me call your husband. Isn't he living in Colombo from Monday to Friday?
That's not because of me. No, yeah, we are working on it.
You know that Sri Lanka has a problem? That's it. Well done. All right, so this is a gift box from our friends at Chariot. Yummy food. I'm going to leave this here. I'll give it to you before you go. But I'll just leave it here. But yeah, I just feel like she has won that as well. Just saying.
It's fine.
You know, haven't you ever thought of it? Sri Lanka has a problem in expressing love.
Yeah.
Like how Italians always, oh, I love you, you're wonderful. Here we are like, he knows that we love him. That's how the parents are, right? How was it when you were growing up?
Yeah, I think it was something like that. No, but actually, we've always felt safe as children,
Yeah.
you know. So we felt that warmth. So I suppose maybe the words weren't always there. I don't remember those words, but maybe you don't need those words. You know, it's that warmth and comfort, and I mean, yeah. So
When you became a mum, not once, twice, how did you manage it at that time?
I had to manage it. I had no choice. But I had organized the household that they were very safe, and I used to work from home most of the time
Right.
because my legal office was at home and the toy factory was next to the home.
Right.
So I was always available for them. But when years went on, when I was just being pushed up to the leadership in the several organizations, I had to maintain a certain kind of distance, you know, because I'm the head and, you know, it didn't go into my head.
Yeah.
But then I couldn't be free in expressing
Expressing.
love and all that.
Yeah.
But I'm a good person inside me.
Yeah, I understand. I think it takes a lot to find that balance between, because I have had a grandmother who has been quite an inspiration. Like, she became a doctor after giving birth to my father, and she got into the family practice and won a state title as well. So to achieve all of that after you become a mother, I think it's a lot. So my father was in a boarding school, but it doesn't mean that she didn't love him, because for her, he was the blue-eyed boy because he was the first and God, everything. But yet, expression-wise, we have always been very restricted. But I think now parenthood in Sri Lanka is changing. Like, people are expected to approach them as friends. Like, how do you see it?
yeah, so that's exactly right. I mean, it has its pros and cons, I think, because Maya is less likely to listen to us than we were to our parents.
Yeah.
But of course, I think Sahana and I always make it a point to say that we love her. We encourage her to share her feelings. It's feelings, no, Danu? Finally, love, hate, sad, hungry, whatever it is, like, it's feelings. And I think that's what we are bad as Sri Lankans. We don't express what we feel. So we really encourage her.
We cry,
to-
that we do.
Yeah.
The rest we don't show.
Yeah. And we
Cry for
cried
the
aloud.
Yeah.
Lightest thing.
Yes, we show the. That's why all these teledramas doing good men is
Yeah,
ready to
exactly.
cry. Just cry,
Oh.
cry.
Or we dwell in others' sorrows and not really express our feelings. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. We're getting into a break. We'll see you on the other side. Do stick around. It's Day to Come. Welcome back to the show. We are speaking to this wonderful lady called Sandra who got into 50 over 50 with the Forbes list. It's not something that you can pay your way into, you can't nominate yourself into. It's just not easy to get there, but it's great. When you received the message, Selyna, how did you react?
Actually, we didn't know. We had no idea that this was happening. And I got a message from a friend in the US who had seen it and then
Isn't
sent
this
it
your
across.
mother's name?
Yes, exactly. So, isn't it Sandra Wanduragala? And I was like, what? This is good. I can now cream off it. Basically, when you're running with like zero marketing budgets, these things help. And no, I mean, it was, I think, very nice to see, you know, this recognition. I mean, finally, we are a brand from Kurunagala. And to see this, I think, is very motivating, and also maybe a message to people who are outside Colombo that you can take something out of Sri Lanka, you know. You don't have to be from Colombo, or you don't have to have gone to like the top schools or whatever it is. You can make it work.
To the young women who are watching this show, and like today, how men and women both think are very different. People feel more entitled, people feel more validated due to social media, these spaces being so rewarding you so quickly. You are given a verification to your life. What would you tell them about the fundamental of being who they are?
What I believe is, if you have a vision, go relentlessly behind it. Though so many people might not recognize you or even notice you or see you, somebody will be watching you, right? And what I feel about this listing is that sometimes you feel that you are always challenged and no one appreciates the service you do for the country, but then someone has seen, right? So, don't be obsessed with what you are going to get. First give. I have given my life, and in this whole equation I often think, where was I, you know? And now it's too late to think that, oh Sandra, you didn't live a life, you only worked, you know, but the benefits will be reaped by
Not only
the country.
by so many.
Yes,
Yeah. So it's a legacy that you're leaving back.
I think so.
We know so. Selyna, if you can tell me something that you have learnt about your mum and something that you have learned so much that your mum doesn't think that you learnt it from her, what is it? Because you all are both very strong women. How do you all get along?
We get along great, actually, right, Ma? As long as I think,
The mother is patient.
yeah, as I'm with my daughter. What have I learned from my mom? I mean, that she doesn't know that I learned from her. I mean, I don't think she knows, because I think she thinks that, you know, she was never a good mom to us, right? But I think I've learned to become a good mother from her, because it's not the cooking of the 3 meals. It's also little things that she said to me, Aki, maybe, you know, do Maya's hair in the morning. Make sure you dress Maya to school in the morning. So it's maybe through her little things like that that I think, I mean, finally realized that I am a good mom, and I don't think my mother probably gives credit for the strong woman I am, but maybe not for the mother I am. So yeah, I think I that's from her.
That's sweet. Well, before we wrap things up, I have to say, I've always heard so much about you, and Selyna has been a great mouthpiece in speaking about who you are. I met Selyna in the work that I have done in terms of volunteer and youth-related work, and I've always seen Selyna as very strong-minded, opinionated, and it's nice to have an opinion. Right or wrong, when you have an opinion, you are taken notice, and that's what creates a leadership quality in you. If you're going to wave around, then it's not going to be there. But to sit here, to speak to you, and to see how your journey's aim was never this, but your journey has got you here because your aim was very pure, is remarkable. And thank you, Sandra, for being here and for being such an inspiration, for not only changing your life, but for lives around you. And I think that is what's so important. I'm so happy that the world is seeing it, and I really hope there'll be more people recognizing, so that Sri Lanka is not only known for the sad things we have been known for. Yeah, if we can trend for a crown, sure we can trend for this.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you so very much, Selyna, for coming.
Thank you, Danu.
And
Thank
Auntie,
you,
thank you so very
Danu.
much for coming.
Thank you, Danu.
Well, on that note, we need to wrap things up. If this was not an inspiring show, I really don't know what I can do. But I really hope you'll be able to see something out of this and see how much we should treasure what our country has, because it's beautiful and there's always a place to make a name that's going to not only highlight you, but this country in whole. Until we see you again, keep smiling. It's a wrap.